How can you escape the race to the bottom in terms of freelance rates? Coming up. Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. Thanks for being here, thanks for coming back to the channel, and thanks for last week's support on the video. It was received very well, thank you very much for that. This week it's time for another freelance snapshot episode. This is a series where I take a message from LinkedIn that I get from someone. Today it's Ana Maria from Ecuador. And I kind of, create a video based around the conversations we had. These videos are rather short, unedited, so as of this month, as of June, I will have more capacity again, more time to work on bigger and better videos. So stay tuned for some more interactive and more longer form content. But for now, this will have to do. I hope this is interesting. Ana Maria wrote me a message. She said, in the English to Spanish market, especially South America, the whole market seems to be a race to the bottom. How can I combat that? How do you make sure that you don't compete on price, but on value? Great question. This is something that requires a big mindset shift that took me around 1.5, 2 years into the business until I realized that. In the beginning, you are just trying to make it work, right? You're trying to find some jobs, you're trying to fill your days that you think you have to be working, So you just compete in the race to the bottom and you think you will get a job if you charge less than others. And while that might be necessary in the beginning, it's not good in the beginning either, but it's understandable that you do it then, right? But at least when you have some kind of portfolio, some kind of experience lined up, definitely move away from that mindset, because you are not like a vending machine spitting out words. You're a specialist, specialized in one language, in one topic, preferably, because competing on price assumes that your service or translation is interchangeable with another translator, right? But that's not the case. Every service provider is different. You have your unique selling points, you have your strengths, your weaknesses, but let's leave the weaknesses to the side. Let's focus on the strengths. So a client that is focused solely on price is not someone you want to work with, right? Because they don't care about the quality. Ideally, you provide such a good service, such a good quality that the price doesn't matter, that they want to come back to work with you, they want your service, your work, your clients want your texts, so the price kind of becomes secondary nature. That is also why I started moving away from the per word pricing model, for example, because it's very clear cut. It's very like, oh, but someone else offered me 13 cents and now you are charging 15 cents. That's not, why do you charge so much more? And then you look at the whole project and how much more it actually is for the client to pay to me. It's not that much more, right? 2 cents per word, unless it's like a 100,000 word project, then it actually matters. But usually in normal text, it doesn't matter that much, but the human mind is conditioned to just go for the cheapest version. So you need to make sure to convince them that your service is worth it. And it's best to not even engage in the per word pricing model, because it's just too obvious the difference. Just tell them, I provide this package for you. It will be a perfect text. I proofread it together with my colleague. We localize it for a specific market, for an audience. This is the package, one-time payment, all inclusive, one revision included. And then, they don't even compare the price because no one else will offer them a service like that. Just the core mindset or the core message is you don't win by being the cheapest, right? It might seem that you win because you might win a job, but then you're working 60 hours for a menial money and you're just burning yourself out. That's not winning, right? You don't win by being the cheapest. You win by being the most trusted, the most expert in the field. So the clients come to you for your knowledge, your expertise, not for your time. You're not selling your time. You're selling your years of experience, years of training, your personality as well, right? Everyone writes differently. Sometimes it happened before that I translated for a client and I thought it's pretty good, maybe I wasn't 100% happy, but it felt like, yeah, that's a good delivery. And a feedback came and they were not happy, and stylistically it just didn't match. And then we realized, okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm just not a match for your brand, for your audience, right? The way I write is not how you envision it, and that's perfectly fine. That's not something negative, right? You can then negotiate how you want to proceed if you just pay this one project, or if you just say, look, we tried it didn't work, thanks for trying, and we move on. Translations are not interchangeable, so charging solely on price is, in my opinion, a ridiculous approach, that you can do that if it's like strictly speaking the same product, right? If you're looking at a model of a smartphone, exactly the same. You look at one store, it's 450, and the other store it's 400. Go for the one for 400, right? But that's not the same with individuals, with humans, right? That's why the human touch is so important. This whole conversation is becoming very different when it's about AI, when it's about post editing, right? There, it's more standardized, and I understand why there would be more of a race to the bottom. That's why I generally don't engage in this type of work, because you can imagine that the lower the rates are, the more proficient, the more expert translators, they don't want to touch it, right? So it gets done by less qualified translators that just want to get some work in, and then the output is getting worse and worse, and the AI trains on that output. It becomes a standardized mess. So while there are definitely use cases where AI translations or machine translations are useful, in the client segment that I'm trying to establish myself and have established myself, it's barely ever a conversation at this point. And if it is, then only for very specific use cases. And even if it's the use case for it, I'm still not charging as a race to the bottom, right? Because I'm the one that's transparent and tells the client, look, in that case, we could actually do a combination of machine and human translation, right? And then I still charge my package, but of course I'm going to be quicker, hopefully, if I assumed the use case correctly, and then the client still pays less. Same mindset goes with going to direct clients. I know everyone mentions that always, you need to find direct clients, blah, blah, blah. But just for your idea, if you negotiate with a direct client, you can even offer them probably less of a quote than an LSP, a language service provider would, but you can still charge more. So it's a win-win situation. The client pays less than they would with an agency, and you charge more than you would with an agency, because you can cut out the middleman, or the middle company. Strange word, middleman. The way you present yourself, Anna Maria, that goes directly to you because you asked me this question. The way you present yourself online with your website, with your online presence, with your establishing yourself as the experts online in any kind of content marketing field matters a lot, right? I don't know how to phrase that. Whenever someone reaches out to me and barely addresses me correctly, maybe writes just dear, comma, or like writes dear madam and clearly didn't research who I am, writes a poorly written letter and besides the fact that I don't even have a job for them, they just reach out because they found my email address, I immediately know that they probably are participating in the race to the bottom, right? Because they just don't take it seriously, and I don't even want to engage with them. So when I actually look for a translator to work out, to work together with me, I don't even, of course I ask the price, but more just as an indication. I've never negotiated with anyone about the price. But if someone offers me the price and I want to work with them, then that's fine. If I don't want to work with them, I don't. The prices is, in that case, really irrelevant, because if I have some project to work with someone, then I have an end client that then pays me for it, and I will just charge. If someone charges me this much, I will just charge more and shift it to the end client, right? So never just let it sit on your shoulders if an agency tries to push your rates down, because you can also push back and say, you can also charge more to your end client. So I became quite cynical with that, but of course I can afford to do that because I have enough work, I have enough clients. I'm not in the need to find more. That's why I said it at the beginning. I definitely did my fair share of participating in the race to the bottom, which I in a way regret, but it's also part of the journey, right? I specifically remember having worked 2 full weekends in a month, 4 days, Saturday, Sunday, twice for 270 euros, completely burned myself out, was then sick for like 10 days afterwards, and basically lost all the possible revenue of the coming days. So in the end, after that month, I maybe had made 400 euros or something. That was really at the beginning. And if I didn't take the weekend's job, I would have probably made more. So just because you think you have to work to fill the gaps, it's not always useful if you burn yourself out. So try to come away from this mindset of word count, like payment grid structure. This is how much I can afford to charge per word, blah, blah, blah. try to focus on other things. Try to focus on accuracy, on cultural knowledge. You're the expert in the field. Work on your communication, work on your unique selling points. How can you convince the client that you're worth it? And if you work with a good client, not with the wrong client, then they value quality, they value what your worth is, and they will pay accordingly. You should definitely have like a 2-sentence pitch ready that you can just dish out on the table at any moment. That kind of says why you are the perfect candidate for this position or for this job, what you can bring to the table for the client. That just needs to be ready to go. Same as a no thank you message when something comes in that it's insultingly low rate. Don't even think about it. Just move on. Just say, no, thank you. I cannot work in this. This is not sustainable for where I live. I hope you find a solution that is both beneficial for you economically, but also matches the quality, because often for these rates, the quality you receive will not be adequate. If you find that the case, please reach out to me again and we can work together for the price I suggested. So don't be afraid to also push back, right? They need to understand that what they pay for is what they get. They will get what they deserve, right? And I see it all the time here in Belgium. I see so many, because German is technically a national language here, so a lot of products have German on it, and it sucks. It's terrible so often. It's good for me because I immediately reach out. If I see a brand with bad German on the packaging, immediately reach out to the brand and tell them, hey, you need to work on that. It's embarrassing. Well, I don't say that, but it's a great marketing tool for me, actually. I'm probably writing at least an email like every couple months, maybe every 2 months. I see a product that has bad German on it and I immediately reach out. And for them, the price shouldn't matter, and often doesn't matter, because it's so visible, it's on the packaging. And if I can prove to them that this is bad, that you don't want this to happen, it happens quite regularly that they say, okay, let's work together, let's improve that. So Anna Maria, it's definitely possible to go against the curve and or against the trend, and to build a freelance business that is based on sustainable pricing and not on underpricing yourself. But it doesn't just come naturally, right? You have to go after it. You have to set intention. You have to set the tone for it. The market will naturally treat you badly, let's say, if you don't do the necessary steps. So definitely establish yourself, build social proof, do content marketing, reach out to people, build a network, practice. Work on your pitch as well. It's a lot about negotiating as well, how you present yourself. People nowadays, or companies nowadays, come to me to say, if we can work together. And if that's already the first step, if they reach out to me, then the question of price is already kind of irrelevant, right? Because they approached me, so they want to work with me. And if you can achieve that, that's key in establishing a business. So I hope this was useful. Of course, it's a long way, it's a long journey. So don't think like you're doing anything wrong, not at all. I was in the same boat. Just try to stick through it, try to make it to like 2-3 years of experience, and then the whole mindset can shift considerably. Thanks for watching. Make sure to scroll down, like the video, and subscribe to the Freelanceverse if you want to watch more of these similar contents. And I see you next Monday with the next one. Bye-bye.